habituated to a smartphone of a 4G, daily he used to use that mobile more than 2 hours continuously. Let us assume, especially in the evening time, whenever the battery gets almost to zero, he's using that mobile. Actually, he's suffering with the headache. Actual headache is adding with the impact of radiation. It is a something new disease. But the doctors know about the headache. They don't know about this accumulated radiation impact. So that means we used to give them some tablets or medicine, so which deals with the only headache, which not deals with the radiation. After some years, this will be accumulated, it will come out of the body in another form. We don't know the exact disease name, but it is a mixed version. So in the mixed version, the original is the headache, and some portion extra came from the body, which is the result of accumulated radiation. That's the point we have to remember about. So it depends on our body resistive power, immunity power. It depends on our immunity power, how the radiation will accumulate in our body, how our body will fight with that, and how many days it will take to come out of the body. So that's why please be concentrate on the radiation of next generation wireless network. And we'll get into the original topic of wireless communications. And here, already we know, so wireless channel and wired channel. The basic difference is wired communication is a single path communication. Wireless communication is a multi-path communication. Whenever we can say it is multi-path, obviously there are multiple copies, more than one signal copy. So how to combine all these multiple copies at the destination, how to take one copy out of it. So that deals with the wireless communications. And this is the basic model of wireless simple communication channel. So transmitted signal is getting added to the fading channel. Here why I am considering it as a fading. What's the meaning of fading? Because of this multi-path signal processing in wireless channel. All these multiple copies will reach the destination in different times, because we don't know, the signal may propagate in different directions based on the obstacles present in the paths. They will reach the destination. How to select them all? So due to this multi-path signal propagation, the received signal strength will vary at the destination. We can call that impact as fading. So that's why I simply call, we say a transmitted signal, let us assume X. Here the channel is H, and every channel has an impact of noise. Here I am making it as additive noise. Why additive noise? We can call this as AWGN noise, additive white Gaussian noise. So why I am taking this additive white Gaussian noise here is, generally representation AWGN noise is ideal noise. Why we can call AWGN as ideal noise? Why especially additive? Because noise is random in nature. Noise can impact the signal in any way. Noise can be added, noise can be scaled, noise can be convolute. So the noise impact on the signal is actually, to say, it is random. But among all the possibilities of noise impacts on the signal, minimum possibility is addition. So minimum impact is addition. That's why I am taking some signal added with the noise in the channel. That is the minimum possibility. That's why I am adding the noise to the signal. That's why it is additive noise. Why it is additive noise? In ideal case, minimum noise impact is addition. That's why I'm considering as additive noise. And coming to white, why it is white? What is the specialty of white color? White color has some significance. White is white wherever it is. And the thing is that suppose take a blue color. We have different what we call different ways to represent the blue color. Light blue, sky blue, thick blue. But coming to white, so there are no light white, thick white, dark white. So it is white wherever it is. So white indicates uniformity, constant. So white here indicates constant noise pulse vector density. What's the meaning of this? The impact of the signal at any frequency with respect to channel is same. Another way to say, the channel impact, especially the noise impact on the signal at any frequency is same. Over the total frequency range, the response of noise over the signal is the same. It indicates a constant response of the noise with respect to the signal. That's why it is white noise. Here white indicates a constant noise power. It is the same for all frequencies. The response is same for all frequencies. And coming to Gaussian, and we have noise, it is noise. So noise generally random in nature. We can't determine the noise signal in one way. Like an example of a class, We simply cannot say the performance of class by selecting one person and asking his marks. So what we have to do, whenever we want to evaluate the performance of a class, so class total is a random process because all the students are not in the same manner. So that's why take the average of the class. That means single instant value will not determine the noise performance, noise signal performance. That's why what we have to do, distribute the noise. Distribute the noise means take many samples as possible of noise and combine all these samples, evaluate some parameters like mean, variance, standard deviation. So all these performance metrics are evaluated not based on single instant, on multiple instants. So we can evaluate the noise performance. That's why we are going for distributions. So many distributions we have. So Gaussian, Rayleigh distribution, Hessian distribution, Nakakami distribution, log normal distribution. Among all, again, ideal is the Gaussian. Why ideal is the Gaussian? Because Gaussian distribution has zero mean. It is centered about the origin. So that's why it is symmetric about the origin. So minimum possibilities again Gaussian. So consider all the ideal characteristics. Means ideally the noise impact is minimum with respect to addition. That's why additive. It is having constant sparse spectral density. Response is the same. That's why white. And among all the noise distributions, minimum ideal distribution is Gaussian. That's why Gaussian. Combine all these three ideal qualities, we can call this noise as AWGN noise. After adding with the AWGN noise, the received signal may be like this because of the impact. Now, so this is the spatial diversity and coming with the multiple antennas. Nowadays, we want more data rate. So more data rate means as many number of bits we can able to send, that many number of bits we have to send. Many signals have to be sent. That means we need multiple access techniques. We have to combine them. So combine many signals to one signal. That we can call it as multiplexing. So for that here they are taking many antennas, multiple antennas. We can call them as MIMO antennas. But what's the problem with these MIMO antennas? Because here just to see, same here. As you are using many antennas at the base station, we need many antennas at the mobile unit because it's a MIMO signal. But it is practically to develop many number of antennas both at the transmitter and receiver is very difficult because it is costly, not economic. At the same time, so there is interference between the signals also because we are sending many signals with the nearby antennas, and the hardware complexity is there, interference problems are there, and costly, and so many other problems are there. It is not a good solution always to cop up a module or base station with a many number of antennas. So that's why the cooperative communication come into picture. The name itself, cooperative communication, means so we have to cooperate to somebody else. Somebody will take the cooperation from us. That means actually we need multiple antennas because we need more data rate. So we need multiple antennas, that is right. But it is not good to have one person with multiple antennas. That's why what we can able to do. So single antenna users share their resources. Another way to say, share their antennas to form a virtual MIMO. Let us assume there are 10 people, 10 users in a cell area. Each person having one antenna. Suppose they combinedly, cooperatively, that means they are transmitting their own signal and they are helping to transmit other person data also. That means they are cooperative agents to their friends, their neighbors. So these 10 people actually sharing their own data and they are helping others to share their others' data also. That means it's called cooperative communication. So to see frankly, really, they are single antenna users. But combinedly, after sharing that, visually it seems to be there are 10 antennas for each person having 10 antennas because one is his own antenna, remaining 9 antennas he is sharing from others. That means it seems to be a virtual MIMO. Even though he physically is equipped with only one antenna, but he is getting the advantage of 10 antennas. So cooperative communication in single one term we can able to say it is virtual MIMO, not physical MIMO. How it is virtual MIMO? Single antenna users taking the help of other users. That means by combinedly seeing, so a single antenna user will getting all the advantages of MIMO system, but he is having only one antenna. That's the concept of cooperative communication. In simple words, I am saying, so whatever may be the users. So users, single users share their resources to form a virtual memo is called cooperative communications. That's the advantage of next generation wireless networks. So there is no need of each user having many antennas with him. So one antenna is sufficient, but he has to take the cooperation from the others. So this is the concept of cooperative diversity. Now, just to see here, base station, relay, user. Here the term relay means the cooperative agent, which is actually helping us to send the signal. Let us assume it's uplink. So user want to send signal from user to base station. In between, he is sending the same signal via relay also. Now let us assume, suppose it is a single user, he is a coupled with only one antenna. So diversity order is 1. What's the meaning of diversity order? How many ways, how many different ways we can able to send the signal. Suppose we don't have the relay, diversity order is only 1, because from user to base station we have only one path. But coming to by using relay, just observe, user has its own antenna and relay has also its own antenna, but he is taking the help of relay also. That means it seems to be two MIMO. He has now two antennas. One is his own antenna and second one is he is taking help from the relay. So diversity order is 2 now. It is getting doubled. One path is directly from user to base station. Another path is from user to base station via relay. That means diversity order getting improved. At the same time, his number of antennas, virtual MIMO order is now 2. Previously has only one antenna. By taking the help of relay, now the antenna size increased to 2. The number of antennas are 2. So what are the advantages by using this cooperative communication? Let us assume a single antenna user are there, increase the number of relays as many as you want. Suppose I want a 10 by 10 MIMO. One is my antenna, remaining 9 antennas, I can select 9 number of relays. What is the advantage? You can increase the coverage, you can increase the data rate, you can increase the signal to noise ratio. How all these are possible? Just to think of it. So suppose the direct link between user and base station is not good. The link between user and base station is not good. Another way to say, the channel between user and base station in the direct path is not good. What's the meaning of this? Suppose there is a large obstacle, if there's a mountain, a tall building is there between the base station and user. Now they don't have the line of sight communication. Then is there any guarantee that the signal reach from signal to the base station? There is no guarantee because we don't have line of sight communication. So now in this particular case, whenever the link between user and base station is not good, automatically we will send the signal to a relay and relay will send our signal to the base station. We can take the help of cooperative communication. That means if we have more than one way to propagate the signal, diversity order increase. Whenever the diversity order increases means there is a minimum guarantee of signal reception at the receiver. At least one of these many paths should be good and it will take the signal to the destination. Even though in the direct path we don't have line of sight communication, but in an indirect path via relay we have the at least guarantee that the signal may reach. That means coverage will increase. And one more thing, the position of this relay is not fixed. The position of this relay is not fixed. It is dynamic. It can able to move. So the relays can move. So based on the location of relay, the performance may increase or decrease. So how to select proper relay and what is the impact of this relay processing? That means how the relay will respond for the incoming signal, how it will send the received signal to destination. That means the inner processing of relay is most important. Or another way to say in simple words, how the relay can receive the signal, how it process it, and how it again resend the signal to the destination. Based on the relay processing, there are basic protocols too: amplify and forward, and decode and forward. We will discuss these basic protocols of cooperative communication. Here I want to convey cooperative diversity. So cooperative diversity, finally, we will conclude here cooperative diversity, cooperative communication means it is one type of spatial diversity. It is based on virtual MIMO concept. All are single antenna users. They are sharing their resources with other people and forming a virtual MIMO. We can call this as a cooperative diversity. See here, why cooperative communication? We need to address this. Why cooperative communication is required in wireless networks? Basic relaying protocols, new adaptive relaying schemes, cooperative communications in 5G, future directions. And coming to the first question, already we addressed, I think so. Why cooperative communication is required in wireless networks? Why it is needed in wireless networks? In current scenario, we need there is a deadly need of multiple antennas because we need high data rate. So this multiple antennas concept will be well addressed by this cooperative communication because we have all the advantages of MIMO, but it is a virtual MIMO concept. And coming to basic relaying schemes, there are two basic relaying protocols. Based on these two, so many other adaptive relaying schemes are introduced. What are these basic two relaying schemes? Just concentrate here on the same block diagram. And coming to this relay, whatever may be the signal coming from user to relay, the relay automatically receives it and send it to the base station. And how it behaves with the signal, that we can call it as a relaying protocol. So just think of it. One person is there, he's traveling from a long distance. He came from long distance. After traveling long distance, I think in villages we used to do now also. So sometimes relatives come to our house. What first we will do? We'll accompany with them with some water. Because they travel for long distance, so they are weak. We have to make them strength by giving something, a liquid form or food form. Yes or no? So apply the same concept here. The signal traveled a long distance from user to relay. That means as the distance increases, as the traveling distance increases, the power of the signal will decrease. The relation between transmitted power with respect to distance, always it is decreasing exponentially. As the distance increases, the power of the signal will decrease. That means there is a large distance, let's assume. See the direct path distance is very small, let us assume. While you are going to non-line of sight path, relay path, the distance is more. After traveling long distance, the signal becomes weak. That's why relay first receives the signal, amplifies the signal, then forward the signal. That's the basic principle of amplify and forward. And here we want to convey some simple mathematical expression of a communication system, because we need some analysis of these basic relaying protocols. The second one, just see here. Let us assume the transmitted signal is X. The channel impact, the channel coefficient is H. And in the channel, the noise is AWGN noise N. Let us assume the received signal is Y. Now, what is the relation between this received signal and the transmitted signal? Let us assume received signal is Y, transmitted signal is X. Now, form the relation between Y and X. We can write this as Y equal to H channel convolution with X plus N. Y equal to H in convolution with X plus N. But it is additive white Gaussian noise. Suppose the channel is a flat fading, because it is AWGN noise. Assume flat fading. We can directly write to Y equal to Hx plus N. Y equal to Hx plus N. The received signal is equal to original signal under the impact of channel plus some noise in the channel. We can say in the statement, received signal Y equal to transmitted signal X under the impact of H plus N. We can write Y equal to Hx plus N. Now, what is the problem with this AF relaying? Now see. So the signal is received. Let us assume the received signal is Y equal to Hx plus N at the relay. What's the drawback? The relay just don't want anything about the signal. Whatever the signal it receives, it blindly amplifies the signal, send it back. Send it to the destination. Yes or no? But in the signal concept, in the signal component, there is a noise component also. Because Y equal to Hx plus N. Along with the original signal component, there is a noise component also. If you amplify the signal, what happens? Along with the signal amplification, there is a noise amplification also. That's the drawback of AF relaying. Yes or no? So AF relaying is simple. Why it is simple? Because it don't want any details. It just amplifies whatever the signal it receives. But what's the drawback of amplify and forward? Along with the signal amplification, there is a amplification of noise signal also. When it becomes a problem, so take SNR range, low SNR range, high SNR range. What is the meaning of low SNR range? Let us assume 0 to 15 dB is a low SNR range, 15 to 30 dB is high SNR range. Whenever it is low SNR, noise is more dominant than signal power. In high SNR, signal is more dominant than noise power. Whenever signal is more dominant than noise power, there is no problem. Even though noise get be amplified, still signal power is more. So amplify and forward is best. Likewise. And the second relaying basic protocol is DF, decode and forward. Whatever the signal it receives at the relay, it decode the signal, because the received signal is Hx plus n. In the Hx plus n, we want only x. We want only x, because that is the decoding the mean. So decode the signal x. Now, because there is a channel impact and there is a noise impact, so it is not possible to get 100% of x. We may get 80 to 70% depending on the decoding capability of the relay. Maximum most possible decoding signal we can able to get. Whatever the decoded signal we get at the relay, that will be transmitted to the destination. That will be transmitted to the destination. Now, what is the limitation of this decode and forward? So decode and forward protocol performance completely based on decoding capability of the relay. If the relay not able to decode the signal perfectly, performance is poor. If the relay able to decode it perfectly, then the performance is very good. And one more thing, when this decoding capability of the relay is better, when we can say the relay decoding capability is better, whenever the signal component is more dominant than noise component, we are dealing with the highest SNR, then the signal decoding capability of relay will increase. So operate, decode and forward relaying in high SNR region. So these are the two relay protocols we will explain in detail using the images. So here I want to convey cooperative diversity and two basic relaying protocols, amplify and forward, decode and forward. In the amplify and forward, it automatically amplifies the received signal and forward it to the destination. The drawback of amplify and forward is there is a noise amplification also. And coming to decode and forward, it decodes the received signal and forward the decoded signal to destination. The drawback of decode and forward is decoding capability of the relay. So here, I think we have discussed already these things. Cooperative communication will deal with this special combat with fading. Fading can be well addressed with cooperative communication. We will improve the reliability. How we can improve the reliability? Because the signal may propagate in many directions. So even though the direct link is not good, we can go for indirect link. With the help of relay, we can send the signal to destination. So at least there is a guarantee of signal reception. That's why reliability is more. And we will get high data rate, because we have diversity address increasing means automatically capacity will increase. And bandwidth efficient, increased coverage. The increased coverage term will be addressed by the relays. Just to see this. Amplify and forward relaying protocol. Just to see the diagram, observe that protocol. So we are taking an input signal and it will be reached the relay in noise form, because in the channel between source to relay there is an impact of noise and channel. That's why it is a noisy version. What's the problem with AF and forward, amplify and forward? Along with the signal component, noise component also amplified. That's why the signal is improved. So at the input of the relay, at the output of the relay, observe the two signals. The signal is improved, signal strength is improved, but along with that noise also improved. Yes or no? Just to see the expression from relay to destination, relay to destination. So the channel between relay to destination is HRD. The signal received at the relay is YSR, and the amplification factor is beta. With this factor only we are amplifying. Amplification factor is beta, and the noise is NRD, which is AWGN noise with a zero mean with some variance. And under root of PR is the energy of the signal. Energy of the signal. And this protocol suffers with the noise amplification. This protocol suffers with the noise amplification. That you have to think of it. And coming to decode and forward, as we have discussed, just to see, try to get y equal to hx plus n. we can minimize the impact of noise. That is possible. There is no guarantee to make the total noise as 0. We can try to minimize that. And after minimizing, so decode the signal, and it may be, so just to see, whatever the signal we have transmitted to the source, same type of signal we are getting after decoding. So that is possible whenever the relay perfectly decode the signal. Otherwise it is not possible. So just to see, it is unable to decode the received signal properly. Error propagation may occur automatically. The performance will decrease. So that means for a decode and forward relay, we need high SNR range operations, because the relay clearly wants to decode the signal perfectly. Now these two are fixed. So what we can say, amplify and forward and decode and forward. And coming to this, and here we want to say something, as we have discussed, basic relaying protocols over, and coming to new adaptive relaying schemes. New adaptive, what's the meaning of adaptive? So make some change into the fixed relaying protocol, make a new one. Make a new one. We can call this as one type incremental relaying. Incremental relaying. What's the meaning of this incremental relaying? First, the source and the destination will check their own link, direct link. That means select the direct link between the source and destination. If the direct link is good and it is straight and it is a small distance, and if they have line of sight communication, there is no need of relay. There is no need of relay. Whenever the direct link is not good, then we need a helper. Then we need a helper, because our direct link is not good. Please send the signal in another way. Yes or no? That means first check the direct link. If the direct link is good, go with the direct link only. No need of relay. If the direct link is not good, go for relay. So this if-else condition, checking condition, is called incremental relaying. If the direct link is good, go for direct propagation. If it is not good, go for relay. If you combine these two switching, make a new protocol, is called incremental relaying. When it becomes incremental, whenever the direct link is not good, go for relay. Go for relay. That's the basic principle of incremental relaying. So in incremental relaying, you can use both AF and DF. And coming to hybrid schemes also there. Hybrid schemes, you can combine AF and VF. AF and DF, you can call them as a hybrid decode and forward and amplify and forward scheme. You make a SNR threshold. Generally, amplify and forward is good in low SNR region, and this decode and forward is good in high SNR region. If you combine these two total SNR region, you can try to operate with the hybrid relay. You can operate with the hybrid relay. Apart from this, coded cooperation is there. New relaying technique, coded cooperation. And nowadays, compressive sensing is one new advanced topic in signal processing. They are also applying this compressive sensing to these relaying protocols. If you want to introduce a new relaying protocol, you can introduce. So these are the basic things available. Just understand the basic principle of relaying protocols. If you want to introduce something new, you can try to introduce. And here I want to convey how the performance of this cooperative communication will increase. So the question is, basic relaying protocols over, adaptive relaying protocols over. Now, how to evaluate the performance of these cooperative communications and how to improve the performance? That's the basic question. And initially we started with ionizing radiation. Next generation wireless networks are dealing with ionizing radiation. If you want to solve that problem, you can go for green communications. What's the meaning of green communication? Away from radiation. How to move away from radiation? So whatever the causes or reasons for the radiation improvement, try to minimize them. Try to minimize them. So we need that radiation, but try to change the format, some parameters, adapt some parameters, try to minimize the SAR. So that is green communications. By properly allocating the power, one important research problem is power allocation. By giving proper powers to the relays, by giving proper power allocation to the relays, you can improve the performance. And before discuss about the performance of this cooperative communication network, first of all, how to analyze the performance of a communication system. So a transmitter is there, a receiver is there, in between a channel is there. What is our goal? The information signal exceeds the transmitted from source to destination. It received as Y. Now compare your received signal Y with the transmitted signal. Compare Y and X. Whenever Y approximately tends to equal to X, performance is very good. If Y not approximately equal to X, at least 80%, 70%, 60%, it is not equal to that, performance is poor. We can able to evaluate it by signal to noise ratio. Evaluate the signal to noise ratio of each link. Evaluate the signal to noise ratio of each link at the destination. Based on SNR, you can try to evaluate performance metrics. What are the performance metrics we have? Bit error rate we have, symbol error rate we have. Symbol error rate you can evaluate based on the type of modulation you have used and the signal to noise ratio. If you try to evaluate signal to noise ratio, automatically you can calculate bit error rate. Bit error rate you can calculate outage probability, channel capacity, and if you are dealing with physical air security, you can able to calculate secrecy rate, intercept probability. So almost so many parameters, performance metrics we have generally. So channel capacity used to deal with how much data rate you used to get at the destination based on the effective SNR at the destination. Outage probability, bit error rate you can calculate. Now the important question, finally, we are dealing with performance. Before going to future directions, and finally, just see here, because of this cooperative communication, there are multiple paths. See here, two signals are reached at the destination. At the base station, we have two signals. One signal is from relay, another signal is from user. How to combine these many signals into one signal, or another way to say this, how to select one signal from the set of signals? Because there are multiple users, multiple cooperative agents for a single source. A single signal is transmitted over different paths. At the destination, there are multiple copies. How to select one? So that particular concept will be addressed by some strategy. We used to call them as diversity combining strategy. Diversity combining strategy. What's the meaning of this diversity combining strategy? How to combine all the signals at the destination to select one signal from that. So there are 4 to 5 basic types are there. How to select one particular signal from these many multiple copies. How to combine all these signals. Here 2 copies we have. One signal from directly user to base station, another signal from relay. So 2 signals. So there is a need of selecting one signal from these 2 signals. How to take the decision about the signal. So that we can call it as a diversity combining strategy. So importantly, there are three diversity combining strategies generally. They are the first one, equal gain combining, selection combining, maximal ratio combining. We can use to term them as MRC, maximal ratio combining, EGC, equal gain combining, SC, selection combining. First to start with the primary thing, selection combining. So there are many number of users are there. We can select the best one. That's a simple basic principle. Yes or no? So among these 2 signals, which one is better? We can select them directly. So there are 2 signals. Evaluate the signal to noise ratio of each path. So path 1 having a SNR 1, path 2 having SNR 2. Among these 2 SNRs, which one is more in value? We can select the signal. So that means at the destination, one signal can be selected based on highest SNR. What's the meaning of this highest SNR? Signal quality is good. The link is good compared to the remaining links. That means we can select the best signal. Selection combining. That's the basic principle of selection combining. So selection combining deals with the maximum SNR path selection. Selection combining deals with maximum SNR path based selection. And coming to equal gain combining. What is this equal gain combining? So here we are not selecting anyone, we are not rejecting anyone. We try to accept every signal. All the signals can be added, and while they are adding, apply some weights over each path. Why we are adding some weight to the path? Because they travel a distance, and that is a wireless channel. Surely the signal direction may change, the signal strength may change, and because of this, there is a power changes. We can obviously we can say direction of signal may change means phase change. Amplitude will change, phase will change. Include all these factors. Apply some proper weights, equal proper weight to the all the parts. That means blindly, irrespective of paths, whether it is from direct user or directing signal or relay signal, all the signals should be added with a equal weight. That's the term mentioned clearly. That's equal weight, and take the average. Suppose here two paths are there. Combine these two, evaluate the mean. So two signal SNRs divided by 2. Calculate the average. That is equal gain combining. Coming to MRC, the best diversity combining strategy we have till now for 4G is MRC, maximal ratio combining. What maximal ratio combining will do? So maximal ratio combining also will consider all the received signals, all the multiple copies. In one factor it is different. The factor is based on the channel quality. Based on the channel quality, it applies the weight. It applies the poor channels will be weighted with better weight, and strong channels with limited weight. So proportionate weights are added to the signals and they will combine, and one signal can be evaluated. And we will see this diversity combining strategies. So just to see here, maximal ratio combining, proportionate weights will be applied. So just observe here the weights are channel gain by noise and phase factor also there, because it is a wireless channel. Because of the obstacles present in that, different propagation mechanisms should go under a signal. Which type of the signal? Suppose there is an obstacle like a mountain is there, a large building is there. Some portion of the signal may be absorbed, some portion of the signal may be reflected, some portion of signal may be diffracted, some portion of the signal may be scattered. So the signal may go under all many these type of propagation mechanisms, it will reach the destination. So that means there is a change of phase also. So phase with the signal component at respect to the channel coefficient and the noise power. And coming to equal gain combining, all are equipped with the same. And here how it is different, MRC is different. If you observe MRC and equal gain combining, both having phase component, but coming to a maximal ratio combining, extra factor channel coefficient we have. So based on the channel, appropriate weight will be added to the signal. Appropriate weight will be added to the signal. We are coming to EGCA, all the weights are same. Coming to selection combining, maximum SNR basal signal will be received. Maximum. So based on the application, we can go for it. If all the signals are of same type, go for selection combining or equal gain combining, no problem in it. But whenever there is a what we call abnormality is there, but means we are can't able to say discuss about all the channels are different, some of the channels having strong links, some of the channels are weak, then you can go for MRC. In real time scenario, MRC can be preferable most of the times. That also based on depending on application. And just to see, this is a simple system model of cooperative communication. If you want to do simulation, want to apply this cooperative communication into 5G, it's the best choice. Just observe, one source is there, destination in between relays are there. HSD represents a direct path between source and destination. If this direct path is good, no need of all these relays. Whenever the direct path is not good, go for relays. As you are increasing the number of relays, performance will increase. Error performance will increase. Why? We will get a better performance because many copies are there. At least one copy may reach the destination properly. So reliability of the signal will increase. And here you can use the same cooperative concept in two different ways. One way is you can improve the diversity order. Second way is you can improve the data rate. How we can improve the data rate? If you really want to improve the data rate with multiple relays, send different signals over the relays, not the same signal. If you apply different signals means X1, X2, X3 and so on, Xn, n number of signals can be transmitted from source to destination because we have n number of relays. So data rate will increase. Suppose I don't want a data rate, I want quality only. I want a better error performance. means almost whatever the signal I have transmitted, same type of signal I should get received at the destination. In that case, send the same signal X over n number of relays. That means same X get be copied into n number different paths and it reach the destination. At least one copy of this mini will reach the destination. So one way, if you want a diversity order, you have to sacrifice data rate. If you really want a data rate, so you have to sacrifice reliability. So you want to both reliability and data rate. So there is a trade-off always. Try to select the relay. Now, what are the research challenges we have and future directions? You can go for better relay selection. How to select the relays? And one more important thing, which type of relaying? If you want to introduce any new type of relaying scheme, you can introduce. At the same time, how to select these relays based on their location. Just observe the basic relaying protocols, AF and DF. Coming to DF, decode and forward. Whenever the relay is close to the source, the distance is very less. The signal not traveled long distance. That's why the relay has the capability to decode the signal. Whenever the relay is far away from the source, automatically the signal strength will decrease while reaching the relay. The signal has very weak signal strength. That's why it cannot be decoded perfectly by the relay. That means by the location of relay also performance will increase or decrease. So node selection, relay node selection, relay node location, and the relay processing type, new relaying scheme. At the same time, how to improve the performance, how to maximize data rate, how to improve reliability. Nowadays, we can call them as a quality of service based resource allocation schemes. What's the meaning of quality of service? Users will ask. Nowadays, we will ask. Nowadays, we are getting day by day 1.5 GB to 3 GB daily. Even we have top-ups also. So users will say, I want 4 GB data rate per day. So that is the output given. Now we have to estimate the input. How much input should be given to the system? That's why output should be 4 GB. Yes or no? Those type of resource allocation schemes. How much power actually should be given to the system to get this much data rate? We can call them as a quality of service. So relay selection, relay node location, relay processing type, and maximization of data rate, maximization of reliability, and the quality of service based resource allocation schemes. These all are research challenges available with respect to only cooperative communication. If you apply all these into cooperative communication into 5G, now available 5G technologies in nowadays, they are working, many people are dealing with massive MIMO, heterogeneous networks, millimeter wave, NOMA. Why this NOMA is required? We deal with NOMA. NOMA means non-orthogonal multiple access techniques. Why multiple access techniques are required for next generation network? Because we need high data rate. Instead of sending one signal over multiple copies, send many number of signals, as many as we can. With that, the data rate will increase. That's why go for a multiple access. Up to the 3G or 3.5, up to 4G also. We can go for OFDMA, orthogonal frequency division multiple access. But it is more complex. Because every time we have to deal with the multiple carriers, and these multiple carriers should be orthogonal to each other. At the same time, we have to observe the cyclic prefix, and we have to keep the bandwidth sharing. All these factors are difficult. And instead of that, so there is a new multiple access technique. We can call this as a NOMA, non-orthogonal multiple access techniques. So it deals with a simple basic principle. All the multiple signals which you are adding into one signal, which are multiplexed as one signal, are same in time, same in frequency, but they are different in powers. They are different with respect to powers. That means these many signals having different powers get be added. They will be identified based on their power level, not with respect to their time, not with respect to their frequency. So they are operating in same time, same frequency, but with the different powers. We will see the basic NOMA protocol also. And because we are applying this same cooperative communication concept in a NOMA network. So just see, observe the parameters here. System model. Broadcast phase means from source to relay, we can call broadcast. From relay to destination, we can call cooperative phase. In AF, these are the mathematical expressions. In DF, these are the mathematical expressions. If really want to do, just to go through these expressions. Now, so it is a 5G network. In 5G network, how to do multiplexing using NOMA. This is a basic principle. Just observe the first signal, about the only signal. Just to see the signal there, power, time, frequency. User 2 signal. So user 1 signal colored in yellow, user 2 signal in green. Just observe in what factor they are same, in what factor they are different. On the time and frequency axis they are same. So both are located at the same location. Is it audible? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Audible, sir. Audible, sir. You can continue, sir.
Okay. Just observe here. So this is a 5G network we can able to call this as. User 1, user 2 signals both are in same time frequency slot, but they are different power. User 2